First off, I'd like to congratulate April and Steve. April, you look stunning out there. If you don't know me, I'm Mike, and I'm Steve's best man. I'm very honored to be so. We met playing basketball in junior high school. I should rephrase that. We met on the bench watching the starters play basketball. We became best friends throughout high school, and then we took our education to Cal Poly right here in Luis Obispo. Steve was an aspiring engineer. After a couple of years, he transferred into the College of Business with me because he realized we didn't have class on Fridays. I graduated Cal Poly a year before Steve and joined an accounting firm. When Steve graduated a year later, I hired him. A couple years later, I thought it was time to move on and join a startup consulting firm. A year later, again, I hired Steve. I guess you could say we followed a similar path in life, but Steve knows I've always led the way. However, Steve did get married first. It appears the training wheels have finally come off. We were down in Phoenix for one of Steve's bachelor parties. After a late night out, we tried to make our way back to the resort. As best man, I was tasked with making sure he made it back in one piece alive. We all got back to the resort, which was about 30 minutes away from where we were out that night. And we were all having a good time. It was a little quieter than normal. We looked around, and someone asked where Steve was. We shrugged our shoulders. He was not there. Somehow I had managed to lose the bachelor. April, he's now your responsibility. By the way, I last saw him in a rickshaw wearing a Fiesta hat, so good luck. Other than loving April, Steve's favorite thing in life is playing poker. After a frequent losing stint at the tables, he'll always say the same thing. In the long run, I'm always up. I never quite understood that, because every time I see him play, he loses. And then he rambles on for minutes about how it wasn't his fault. Today I realized something, though. You finally are up. April, you dealt him a winning hand. Steve and I were in Las Vegas for a weekend in August of 2008. He decided to extend his trip an extra day and leave on Monday morning. He made it to the airport, got seated in an aisle seat. April happened to be seated in the aisle seat across from him. The plane pushed back from the jetway, but it didn't take off. It was stranded for 3 hours on the tarmac. Steve had a piece of chewing gum. He offered some to April. April accepted, and their journey had officially begun. What would have happened had Steve left on Sunday like he should have? What if he wasn't seated in an aisle seat next to April? What if the plane wasn't delayed? What if he didn't have a piece of gum? Everyone, please raise your glass. For April and Steve, I have 2 pieces of gum left. Cheers to a happy life together.